Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for March 18th through the 24th, 2019. So let's just take a deep breath together and allow everything that is on your mind to just fade away as you center into your heart space, into your heart chakra, and being aware of your own inner light, your own inner star shining brightly. And just notice the quality and the facets of your soul star as it's shining and emitting all kinds of frequencies. And notice the sensations that you feel as you connect in with your soul star and as you watch the sparkling light just flitting from and emitting from this inner being, this representation of your inner being. And allow yourself to expand this light, to allow it to expand and shine into all of your cells of your body, the organs, and see it just spreading throughout your body, from your crown of your head all the way into the soles of your feet. That your entire body has been flooded with this light from your soul star. And as you see it expand further, see it going beyond the boundaries of your physical being to encompass your entire energy field. And feel it flowing through your feet, just pouring out like roots streaming deep into the earth's core. Until you become this pure, radiant light. And you're like one of the stars in the heavens. And you are feeling clear, so that now you possess great clarity, wisdom, that you have the ability to perceive and feel, and be so much more aware of everything that's going on around you and all the information that you're vibing from environments and people, as you now have access to truth that informs you of what your role is in any circumstance or situation. And so as we tune in together to the energy for this week, for March 18th through the 24th, 2019, we get a sense that you can feel in the heart chakra that there's a tenseness in that area, and we're experiencing it feels like something is surfacing. It's just sort of that something has come up to the surface, and it is kind of stuck there. It's trying to get its way out, but so this is causing you to feel like it's almost like a clogged pipe, and it's coming to the surface, but it doesn't have an outlet for it to go. Now they're just writing the word passion, and the sense I'm getting from them is that what you may not realize, because you may be interpreting it in a different way, that it feels like you're sleeping on something. You're sleeping on a passion. And, a passion could be anything that in that moment you feel called to express your truth in some way. And because you're questioning it, or you are second guessing, but you're judging it and you're criticizing it, and you're worried about how it's going to be perceived. Because you're doing this, instead of focusing on the joy that it's giving you and the light, they wrote the word light, like as if a path. Because what joy does, it shines like a star or any sun, and it opens up this light. The rays of that light create paths for you to notice that at the end of the path of that light is an opportunity. And there are many avenues, because the universe is abundant as you are from within. Your passions that are given to your soul are full of abundance. And when they manifest through you, they are full of abundance. They're full of directions and purpose. And when they reflect through you into the physical world, they are recognizable as potential opportunities, potential pathways, choices. And they range, as they write in this word, they range from extraordinary to very simple. And there is a mix of them all around. It's a mixture of extraordinary and simplicity. They are intermingled as if to create a sort of a sense of balance and harmony, so that you are able to recognize which touches you the most. You get to be drawn or magnetized towards you, depending on how you're feeling and what you are seeking through your sifting. That's why it's so important for us to, I don't know why I want to say this, but I feel like this is coming through. It's so important for you that we get up and we explore. That every day when we get up, we think about it as an opportunity to explore and to experiment. Because when we're exploring and we're experimenting, we're open to our creative alignment. And being in this place, our passions are full of creative alignment. Our passions, let's say that, they really want you to hear that. Our passions are full of creative alignment. And this creative alignment is instinctual. Even if you don't know exactly how you're going to get it, allow it to come together, it's still a lot of instinct. Again, it's sort of this balance of experience, skill, instinct, wisdom. It's all dancing together always. This is this abundance that they're talking about. When you get up and you think to yourself about all the things that you have to do instead of the things that you get to do. Because when you think of things that you have to do, you are thinking in terms of limitations. You're thinking in terms of what things that you're obligated or responsible for. And you think about them within the constraints of their boundaries. But when you wake up and think about the things that you get to do, this sort of calls or summons that creative alignment. It summons your passion. It's coming from that place of passion, where the other one is coming from a place of dread and fear, because I have to do this, rather than I get to do this. I have to do this, but I get to do this. And when we say we get to do this, we are open, we're curious, and we're open to exploring and experimenting and aligning ourselves through our creativity. This is a productive and a successful, they're writing out the word successful, perspective and attitude. This will govern how you experience. It will cultivate an alignment of joy, because in this, the others has so much limitation, but with this, the boundaries don't quite exist for you. There's freedom. And even though within our responsibilities, we have guidelines, but the thing is that people tend never to fill in. But they always trying to. It's like the guidelines are like a wall, and people are always trying to build the wall, more of the wall. And instead, they never think about what's possible within the wall, because there's this kind of freedom that exists there because everybody's attention is on the wall, and they're not really paying a lot of attention to the content within it. And there's so much room and opportunity for change, for adjustments and transformation. And if you think about the area of what's inside, that's greater than the boundaries around that area. And so shift, and I know this is a little weird of an analogy, but I think it has a bit of a reality, as we may call it, for our physical world, and because we're stuck in our time linear reality. We are eternal beings, and the time space doesn't exist for that, and our creativity comes from that realm. Our creativity comes from that realm, and that our time when we get stuck in our time linear mind, we think about rules, and we think about specific steps. We want to follow the guidelines, and we want everything to be sort of mapped out, and we expect it to go in a certain way. We expect it to flow on that timeline, and when it doesn't, when things suddenly occur or throw things off and we have to adjust, we panic as if this is not something within our nature that is natural for us to adjust to. When our soul is living in that space where everything is possible. And so if we connect more with this, and I think the way to think about it is to catch ourselves thinking when we first wake up or throughout the day, oh, I have to do this. Versus if we change that and look at it and say, what do I get to do this? And now, what am I going to do to make that happen? What am I going to open myself up to? Because no matter what wall surrounds you, you get to open your mind through this context. When you open your mind, there is no limit, no matter what world you're in or circumstance that you're in. You are free. And it will appear to others as though you are lucky. But that is not so. It is just that you are open to exploring your options. You're not going to keep walking around that wall, within that wall, and keep just go through the cycle. You come to this, you wake up, and you know those responsibilities are there, those guidelines are there, but you recognize that there's a new possibility of a way for you to live it afresh, to live it through new eyes, because there's infinite for you to see, there's infinite for you to feel, etc. And it's about, when you open your mind, how much more of that, the facets of you and the facets of the life that you've given yourself to, that you've created and molded, how much more of those facets are you willing to observe and to experience today? So I know that the energies, especially for the Mercury retrograde, this one has been particularly intense. And I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but I never look. I did this several years ago on purpose to make sure I didn't give too much fear, didn't get fearful about the retrograde. So I decided not to look and know when it's coming. And I've noticed within the last year, but this one they've been getting more intense. So that before I would never notice them unless somebody brought it up to me. But now I notice them in the first day. My daily card messages didn't go through. I programmed it to go through 2 days ahead, and it didn't, and it happened again this week, and a host of other things. And what I've been noticing is that this is calling out our truth, or at least my truth. It's showing me. It's almost like I keep trying to do something the old way, and since the retrograde has happened, it doesn't work, especially in ways of communicating. It just goes off. it just goes wrong, and it's so strangely clear. I mean, that you can't miss it. And so I'm seeing some of the things because of this. It's actually showing me some of the things as a great period of assessment examination, because it's showing me literally the things that are getting in the way, habits, attitudes, behaviors that are getting in the way, because this seems like it wants me to focus on my purpose more strongly, more clearly. It's like it's so primed for it. The delays that we've probably been experiencing in the past, and not feeling like, and a lot of the delays that we think it's happening outside of it, the delays are happening within us. And I feel like it's bringing that up, how we have been communicating with ourselves. It's sort of like it has nothing to do with everybody else. It's what's going on between the relationship of communication between our self and our higher self. And we've been getting the messages, but we don't want to see them. We've been avoiding them. And it's just abundantly clear, the messages. So it may feel to you like, something like you're tripping all the time, because that's what it feels like to me. It's like you keep tripping, but it's funny at the same time, because you it's so obvious. You have to notice. So this thing about this stuckness, and you may be feeling, and because it felt like pain, or like suffering a little bit, as if, and when you keep noticing that something isn't working, or it's not productive, or it's not efficient, you keep going back to that and doing it, repeating it, instead of asking yourself, what's a better way to do this? And that's kind of coming from, because you keep thinking, okay, this is something I have to do. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And we don't say to ourselves, okay, this is something I get to do. So let me engage myself. Let me bring more facets of myself to shine into the situation, so that I can really see its potential. So I can really also realize my potential, and the potential of this, which I feel a deep purpose and commitment towards. All right. So this is what is sort of clogging up the drain, so to speak, of your soul. Although this is not literal, but you get the idea. There's that little bit of tension that you may be experiencing. Don't misinterpret it as, I feel like we could spiral off into some really disconnected emotions. And what I mean by that is that those things, negative emotions, or getting stuck in them, separate us from our alignment with that abundance that truly is us. And it's weird, because we basically are, when we are the way that we as humans sort of live inconsistently, in and out of alignment, what that really is, because you are alignment. You can't really get rid of it. You can't tear it out of yourself. But what we can do is disassociate. And so the moments that we're unhappy, we're disassociating from the well-beingness of our soul. That's literally what it is. Your soul is always abundant. The opportunities are always flowing through you, and they are visible to the soul. But when we are unhappy, we disassociate, and therefore we can't see anything good. We can't see the opportunities. We can't see the rewards. They're there, but they're invisible to you. And I know you can maybe get this when you think about, oh my God, and this has happened to me at times. There is something I'm looking for, and I'm talking about an object. And I've looked in this, and I'm just going to say this one specific area. I look all through that area. I don't see it many times over. And I know you know what I'm talking about. Until I adjust something within myself. Usually you become so anxious and so emotional that you've done something wrong, and then at one moment you realize that this is going nowhere, and you take a deep breath and you let that go, and you ask your inner being to light this up for you, to show it to you. And you may get a thought, or you may just get an inclination to turn a certain way, and it was right in the midst of what you were looking, the area where you were looking. And this is what it's like to disassociate from your soul, from the alignment and abundance, the joy, the peace of your soul. There is only one true reality, and the other is illusion. And this is how illusion works for the souls that have incarnated and having a human experience. When we are out of alignment, this is why it's so important to notice when you're in alignment and when you're not. And notice how you feel about life when you're in and how you feel about life when you're out. Because that is associating, recognizing what is and what's true and what the universe is constantly creating and flowing through you from your source. And when you're disassociated, when you're out, because now you can't see what source sees for you and through you. And then we get terribly upset about life. We get really down on ourselves when we're out, blaming ourselves. When there's a dysfunction, it's only a matter of dysfunction. There's nothing wrong with you, but there's a dysfunction in the technology, meaning your soul's technology flows alignment abundance. I mean, something goes off when we fear. It creates a dysfunction. But you take it personally. You take it personally. This just, when we get off, when we allow something to distract us, that creates a dysfunction. Like if you accidentally put some poison in a plant, I guess, it's going to create decay, a dysfunction. You made a mistake. You are not the mistake. If you poured that in the plant by accident or that's an accident. It's a mistake. But you are not the mistake. You see? And that's the thing that especially when we are disassociated, we don't see reality. And that's how we're able to feel all these horrible things about ourselves at times, that we may not like our bodies, or we may not like this, or we feel that we're not good at this, or we feel that we're inadequate, and all these things. When we say, I am those things, you are lying to yourself, because your soul is the I am presence, and it never says or creates those things. But when we're disassociating and we don't have any connection to the truth, we start I aming and using that divinity, that our divine power, to create illusions. And we say things like, I am dysfunctional, or I am stupid, or I am blah, 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 blah. And the only reason you're saying that is because you don't realize that you are in a process of dysfunction because you disassociated from the alignment of your soul. So I'm just going to leave that with you right now and let those seeds go where they may, because even though I say things, it's interesting, and watching the comments, people make other connections that are quite extraordinary, because that's your soul's alignment speaking to you, using what I'm saying to you to connect you to your truth. And those kinds of messages only you can be the recipient of. So this process is really a facilitating. My words matter, but not as much as your vibration of truth matters to you, and how they open up for you access to your own alignment. So let's take a look at the card for the beginning, for the theme of the week from the Archangels. And this is clairaudience. And this means for you to pay attention, to listen to the messages that you're hearing. And it's so, clairaudience sort of works. For a moment I thought I'm thinking claircognizance, and good thing I looked down again, but I'm saying the right words. I'm sure there's probably a message in that too. But you know, the clairaudience, you may literally hear, something. You may hear guidance, as though you're hearing it out in the physical world, somebody's talking to you. What I find is that this works where the thoughts are so strong, or the words, or one day when I was practicing, and I could hear my voice singing in my head, and it was coming so strong as if it's pushing me to go do it right now, try this out. And it was amazing what came out. If I had said no, I gotta do this, I'll come back to that later. So it could be something like that, or sometimes like if I'm writing or when I'm talking, it just comes through so strongly. It's like presses. It's almost like something is trying to speak through you. Sometimes people hear. They don't realize that they're thinking a phrase or a tune's playing in their head, and it's lightly, and then it finally gets to you because you start to automatically express it. You start mumbling it to yourself, or you start singing it to yourself, but you don't realize it until it gets a little bit louder, and you realize, oh my goodness, where did that come from? Why am I reciting that poem, or singing that song? And that kind of moment is a clairaudient message from your angels. It's even the song. Music feeds the soul in this way, and the songs, the lyrics, may have a message to your heart, or maybe setting you up, attuning your heart and your soul to this frequency of alignment and joy, so that you now feel inspired. And that's how you know that you're receiving any form of messages from the universe, because it always comes with inspiration. It's followed by inspiration, because it's coming through, but when you get it, you realize you're inspired. And inspiration, I truly believe, is the voice of God. It's a vibration. The universe, the angelic realm, heavenly realms, the non-physical is vibration, and it's more vast, this language. It's more detailed. There are more shades in the spectrum of this vibration than there are for the words that they are translated into. As example, the words I'm saying to you now. And I always feel this, that trying to find the words to best, not accurately, but that best represents this very broad chunk of vibration that is so detailed in nuances, but it's not a language. It really is vibration, feeling, energy. So many of you know what I mean by that. And they're telling me that yoga will help, help you with your channeling your divine guidance. It will, writing the word, strengthen your communication. And I don't know why they wrote the word projection, but I guess somehow it will project more clearly to you through this. Okay. And they're just telling me this. I've not listened to do my yoga. So I take this as a go do yoga. All right. So the card says, notice the loving guidance you hear inside your mind or from other people. All right, let's take a look at the card and this is Archangel Zadkiel. So let's take a look at the cards for this beginning of the week. And we have the Knight of Stars, and it's titled Adventurer, or the Knight of Wands here. And speaking of passion, this knight is very passionate, to the point of sometimes being restless a little bit. And you can see here sort of these spirals, and this sort of looks like a wheels. It reminded me when I saw it, the wheels turning. This is suit, the element of fire. These court cards, each one of them is has a lot of energy flowing through them. A lot of information that's turning in their minds, and it's learning how to bring that out from the page to the king who holds that vision very clearly. And the knight is about going, serving that purpose and needing a purpose. Needing an outlet for that energy. And this comes back to that, taking that perspective of the explorer and experimenting, being an adventurer, looking at your day as a great adventure. And that can only shift when you keep saying, I have to do something. You are saying you've disassociated, because you see, you're not seeing abundance. You're not seeing the abundance that life truly is. You're seeing it as this burden. And that's not the reality of life. Because remember, life is God. This energy, this vibration that we're talking about, it gave birth to all of it. And so all life is God, or source, or whatever you refer to it. And so when you as an I am being, you have to be aware of what you are saying. Are you saying I am capable, or are you saying I am not? Because that, in this universe of a being that is a creator, that is creation. You are creating that. Whatever that perspective that you've taken, the one in alignment or out of alignment, is what you're going to create. And so paying attention to, and you see this, it's got the Merkaba in his heart chakra, and it just reminds of the sacred geometry, and that the universe is sort of, and this is not the right word, but there's a technology in a sense. It's alchemical. So we want to be very aware of how we use this creative energy, how we use it, and how we apply it. Think about that before you just go into that pattern and just keep doing that same thing, and you don't think outside of the box. You don't think about, you don't look at it with an open mind or a fresh perspective. Okay? All right, let's take a look at the card for the middle of the week. And we have the 8 of stars. So from the same. So this is, and this card is titled Surge, and this is the 8 of Wands. So what we have here is, usually this card indicates, and here you don't see the movement, but what you do, you see the rippling of the roots. It's like waves are sort of coming up underneath you, and they sort of moving up. So through the tree, and you notice how the tree is so colorful, and like all those opportunities we were talking about, and the diversity of them in terms of their the extraordinary and the subtle. And you have colors here. Some of the colors you may not notice, and some that really stick out. And you see the stars moving around at the base of the tree, and so there is what you may find coming to you are messages, a surge of energy, surge of vibration that will direct your adventurous spirit into a specific directions and opportunities for you to start developing, start to create and explore with. I had this card come up for me in a personal reading this week, and it showed up several different times, and I started to get some ideas start to flesh out about some things that I've been wanting to work on. So there were projects that had already started, but didn't have the momentum, and all of a sudden it just came through. And I know we're in the retrograde, but this is like revisiting these important priorities, which is what I was talking about at the beginning. It's like we've been ignoring or avoiding things, and what seems to be coming up is those things that we started that were good ideas, and we put them down and didn't work on them because we were allowing ourselves to be distracted. And now it's like it's coming back for us to revisit and to get sort of a resurge of energy around this and momentum. So pay attention to things that come up, projects that come up, especially things career related, hobbies that are going to turn into something a lot more. They're going to expand in some way, and be just open to the messages that come. Also pay attention to, like, clariaudience, audience, what other people say to you, like, oh, you should God forbid every person that says to me, oh, you should write a book, and all the times I start and never complete it. And so, pay attention to stuff like that, because that's, you in your heart you're supposed to do that. And when somebody says it, that's the universe helping someone to, using someone else to speak through you to help you to recognize this truth. Okay? Now, this is so beautiful, because what's following all of this is surge and this of energy, and this seeking of the purpose, and is joy. So you're going to end up creating some kind of, and the word that comes up to me is event, that this may represent an event. This may culminate in an event where your heart celebrates. And when your heart celebrates, and this is really good for us to hear, and they're bringing through, when your heart celebrates with joy. When you feel joy, your heart is celebrating a success, a spiritual success that you've achieved. That's the first level of joy in terms of its manifestation, that you are feeling that this is your heart and the universe saying to you that you have been successful in listening to your heart. So for some of you, this is what you're going to get. It may not turn into a specific event or a specific reward. This is possible. And definitely, if you don't get it right then this moment, the Three of Hearts, is going to create that stability, or that foundation that 4 would represent, right? The next number. Of course, the next card, the person kind of sitting on their bum and not really using that joy in this card. And that's just to show us, because that's usually the pitfall that we fall into, because we don't believe when good things happen to us, and we don't know how to really believe in ourselves. So we get kind of down on ourselves. We disassociate, like that card shows to me, that dysfunction in one regard, because he's got 3 cups up, and he's got 1 cup being handed to him from the heavens, but he's not noticing it. And that's exactly what we were describing. So that's going to be, for some of you, something that you're going to have to watch out for, as this week really stirs up, your adventurous core, your being, that facet of yourself. And so this night is saying that this is a facet of yourself that's going to come through, because the court cards can represent parts of our personalities coming forward, right? Not just events or the meaning of the card. So this aspect of you may come through, and it will bring through this surge of ideas. It's going to draw this through. And in some ways, the universe is helping you. And this is how I feel like the retrograde has been really helping with this. As it's drawing our attentions, it's bringing us back around to the priorities of the soul that we have been miscommunicating. That's been a miscommunication, meaning we've been resisting and ignoring. And so it's bringing it back around because this is an important topic. Why is it an important topic? Is it making you do it? No, it's because this is a desire in your heart. And it's what it's doing is bringing back around things that it's like you got all these messages and you didn't get them. So the postman is redelivering them. And this is sort of what the retrograde is doing, is redelivering those very important messages that you didn't fulfill, or you weren't there, meaning you were disassociating, you were in a disassociative state when the message came. You couldn't recognize the opportunity because you were out of alignment with your source. All right? Now let's take a look at the card from the bottom of the deck. And this is the Seven of Angels. Now this card says progress. And this card usually shows a thief, which we don't know if the person's actually a thief or they are a rebel, meaning that they are taking back their power. You know, they may be stealing power that was stolen from them in order to help, like a movement, like a resistance against, injustice or something like this. So in this deck, it's titled progress, and so you may want to see that you are going to be taking back your power, because the angel's suit is swords, and this refers to our mind, our intellect, the communication, right? So just what we were saying is that you're going to be taking back your power. You're going to be taking back your power, meaning taking back your source alignment, and becoming aware of the opportunities. So in this week, don't be afraid to steal time for yourself, because this would be sort of in alignment with that understanding of the Seven of Swords. So this week, don't be afraid to steal time for yourself, to put some of the other outside agendas on the back burner and put yours front and center. Take back your life. Take back your power. Take back your joy. Start organizing your life around what you get to do rather than what it is you have to do. Does that make sense? All right, so I'm going to stop here because I could just keep talking and they're getting longer. But the information I feel like is really, really important because that's coming through. So I send you lots of love, and I thank you for being here in this process with me each week. And because you make it possible for the information that comes through. Collectively, this is where it's coming from the collective of individuals that assemble each week with me through these videos. And if you're looking for an angel reading, you can contact me at theangelschool.com. On my services page. If you haven't joined us for the daily card messages, you can also find that in the description link below. You can reach us through Twitter as well. So any way that you need to get in contact with me, just look in the description link below this video. So until next week, God bless you all. And thank you so much for all of your my birthday wishes. My birthday was on March 17th, and that'll be tomorrow technically because I'm doing the video before. I'll be 48, and I'm grateful to have grown to this age in this journey with all of you and all of your your higher self's wisdom. So thank you for all the love that you sent, and I give it all back, or I send it to you as well. So thank you. I don't want to give it back. I want to hold it on. I want to keep it. So thank you, and God bless you, and have a beautiful week.